So we are with Bill Lea. He is a consultant in the stamps department. Bill Lea, when do you start that business with Spink?
With Spink, I have been 9 years now, but I have been in stamps since 1960.
And what's about this department? Was it linked with Robson Lowe, maybe?
Originally, Robson Lowe formed the stamp department. He's been holding auctions since the late 1930s, and over the years he's formed associations with Urs Kaufmann in Switzerland, Van Dieten in Holland, and Jacques Robineau in France. They were known as the Uncommon Market. This probably lapsed a little in the late 70s, and Robson Lowe sold the company to Christie's, 1979, I believe. Later on, it became known as Robson Lowe Christie's, and then when Robson Lowe died in 1993, it became known as the Christie's Stamp Department. Shortly thereafter, the company became part of Spink.
And today, Spink is regarding stamps only. You are based here in London, but you have also an office in Singapore.
Yes, we have sales in Hong Kong and Singapore once a year. We've had offices in New York when we were part of Christie's. And also we've sold in Australia and, as I previously said, in Switzerland. No, we sell basically worldwide. The speciality would be Asia, British Commonwealth, Great Britain, and North and South America.
Well, what kind of clients have you? Because it's quite valuable stamps.
Yes. Generally speaking, we deal with collectors. We're not involved with investment. But the collector today is far more affluent than he was 20 or 30 years ago. So the prices for the very rare material have escalated tremendously in the last 10 or 15 years, of which, strangely enough, Great Britain has probably advanced in price more than any other country.
Which is not the case in France, as an example.
No. Europe, technically, if you take Germany and German states, that country is selling at levels 20 or 30 years ago, including Switzerland, largely due to the high value of the currency as against sterling and the dollar, and also disposable income.
So here at Spink, you have quite a big department, auction department?
Yes, we sell about 15,000 lots a year and probably hold 15 auctions. Obviously selling one in Hong Kong, one in Singapore, and mostly the rest in London. Today is what we call a rarity sale, which is a small number of very select lots. There are 123 lots being sold this evening, which will be sold in about 1 hour. Each lot will have a value of approximately £2,000 upwards. The value of the 123 lots is about £1.2 million, or close to €2 million. The prime lot is the Mauritius block of 4 of the 1 penny earliest impression. This lot is estimated at £300,000 to £400,000. It was originally in the Hine collection, sold in 1934 for £4,700, which in real estate terms in the UK would have bought you a very large property in Mayfair in London. That particular item was then sold for $64,000 in 1968, and the last time it was sold, it sold for $240,000 in the mid-90s. It is expected to bring £300,000 to £400,000 today, which is a healthy appreciation. Absolutely. Besides Mauritius, we have some very important sections in Malaya, Specifically here, two of what we call high values. These are rated $500 stamps, which, if you had to relate to sterling, would have been £25. So, of course, there was very little postal use for a stamp like this, so they printed very few. This particular example is estimated £40,000 to £50,000, and it was printed in 1912, and it has the rare MCA multiple crown watermark, of which there's probably less than 20 in the world. Over the page we have the later example, the 1923 issue. This one is not quite as scarce, but it's still the $500 value, and this is estimated at £20,000 to £25,000. These are stamps that are collected by general collectors of the British Commonwealth. So they will have an Hiver Atelier album, or a Gibbons Imperial album, or the Scott Speciality album. Obviously Hiver is France, Imperial is Britain, Scott is America, and they issue special albums to take one-of-a-kind collecting.
Yeah, I see. Regarding certificates, do you give certificates with stamps or do you sign?
We do. I'm a member of the British Philatelic Association, which is the trade committee in the UK. The amateur committee is the Royal Philatelic Society, and they would like to join together at some stage, largely because the general knowledge of philately is dying out. For example, in France, probably 70-80% of the collectors collect France. In Great Britain, that's something similar. But if you take a worldwide basis, the knowledge of philately on a worldwide basis is becoming rarer and rarer, because there are fewer shops where people can go in and buy stamps over the counter of a varied nature, and of course it's very expensive to stock worldwide stamps, particularly if you're dealing with areas that aren't very popular, and they might remain in stock for 10 or 15 years untouched. In the old days it didn't matter because the value was less, but today, with the high price of stamps, it's very expensive to stock. Now, what we do is, at the British Philatelic Association, that I've been a member of for just under 40 years, we show it to about 5 or 6 experts who give an opinion as to what they think it is. We then have a meeting, so it's sent round separately. We then have a meeting monthly. The item is put in front of, very often on this table here, and we decide the wording of the certificate, and then 3 out of the committee of, say, 12 people will sign the certificate to authenticate it. The most important thing about English expert committees is that there is generally a good quantity of signers. I still believe that there's a 5% error in expertising today.
Which is very few.
Yes, relatively speaking, but it is not a precise art. And when you look at a stamp, there's probably 15 or 20 tests that it has to go through in order to be quite certain that it is what it is. Because the forgers have been hard at work, and they've added margins, and they've rebacked the stamp, they sometimes change the cancellation, they can play with the colour, all sorts of things can be, so you have to be right on your toes.
Do you think it's increasing at the moment? Or?
I think whenever things become valuable, you're going to get
temptation
people,
can be.
And specifically with stamps, because it's paper, they can get torn and damaged quite easily, and so therefore the repairers today are very, very skilled. So you can close a tear up and find it almost invisible.
Now the auction is in the process to start. Everybody at Spink is ready. The auctioneer, but also people on the phone and computer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Spink, and tonight's sale of important stamps.
Clients can follow this great moment at Spink premises or on internet, thanks to a webcam situated in the room.
1065, the tuppence blue unused.
20 minutes later start the bids regarding Mauritius stamps. A success, as you will see.
£1,000.
4,200. Oh, thank you. 4,200. Panic. 4,200. 4,500.
5,200.
5,200.
901. So we got
901, thank you. First of all, I have 5,800 and 6,000 and 270,000. 280,000, 290,000. 300,000 pounds. At 300,000, are we all done? At 300,000, double 126. Thank you very much.